Hello, hello, fellow pet owners. This is Dr. Mary Gardner with Lap of Love. For this episode of our Facebook Live, I wanted to talk about how to create, or maybe why we want to create, bucket lists for our pets that may be passing in the near future. And I think about these bucket lists this time of year. Right now it's Thanksgiving time, because of a situation that happened with myself. And then afterwards, what I did about that. So about actually 9 years ago, this holiday season, my first Doberman, Neo, which many don't hear too much about my first Doberman, Neo, but he was just an angel, and he had Cushing's disease, and unfortunately, it was a type that was very aggressive, and it spread to his liver. And so I did hospice with him for about 4 months. And the day after Thanksgiving, 9 years ago, I went to go help another family with their kitty cat. And I came home in the middle of the day and he had passed. And I was not expecting him to be gone. I was hoping to get a few more weeks. And it's what happens to a lot of us, especially during the holidays, is we hope that they can make it to different milestones, particularly Christmas. And I was hoping that for Neo as well, but he had passed without me, and that really took me by surprise. It gave me a different kind of grief that I wasn't expecting, because I always thought I would be the one that would deliver his angel wings, if you would. And I realized that I was always focusing on caring for him and caring for his symptoms, which, by the way, is good. But I was focused so much on his disease and on his cancer and on trying to keep him around, that I forgot to make sure that I focused on the things that he also really enjoyed. And that's where these bucket lists come from. And, there's bucket lists that we'll make for ourselves, right? So what's the one, a couple of things that you want to do before you pass? Maybe, Machu Picchu, or I don't know what else some people may want to do. Me is probably adopt 100 old cats or dogs, which would be like my top 100 bucket list. But I think it's really good to do for our pets, or make one for our pets, because it helps us focus on the things that they really enjoy, and making sure that we could give them some of these things before they pass. And I wish I had done this with Neo, because I would have focused on some of the things that I know brought him so much joy. And of course I did my best, but really putting it down on a list, I think, would have helped me. And then also, after he passed, I would have been able to look back at that. And even though he died without me, I would have known that I still made sure he lived well until he died. And so I would have had no regrets. And so for Duncan, my second Doberman, who I adopted, maybe January 7th, so just a few months after Neo had passed, and he was an adult when I adopted Duncan. He was 6. And so a lot of people know my Duncan. And about 2 years ago, I did a Facebook Live with him in it, who he is an angel now as well. But for Duncan, when it came time for his hospice care, I did a bucket list for him. And so I'm going to share that bucket list, or talk about some of the things that I added for him. And then I'm going to also talk about 2 other bucket lists that some of our Lap of Love clients have made for their pets. So for all of our pets, when they're terminally ill or very old, they may not be doing the same things that they loved to do when they were younger, right? So just like I'm not 18 anymore, so my bucket list may be different. So we've got to make sure that we don't overstress our pets, thinking we want to run a mile or something like that. And it may really, truly be just the simple things. And some of these may be a little bit selfish, if you will. So as I go through mine, maybe this will just inspire you to build your own bucket list. And trust me when I say it helped me so much with Duncan when he passed, to look back at his bucket list and check them all off. And we checked them off as we went along. So for the first item is enjoy a steak dinner. And then he ended up having 3 steak dinners. We had a slumber party with Mom. We had 2 of those. Visits from his human girlfriends. So Duncan was quite the ladies' man, and so all of his human girls that loved him came over to visit the week before he passed, just soaking up the sun. So we made sure that he was laying out in the sun, which he enjoyed to do so much, and no time limit on it, as much time as he wanted out there. The next on his list was chasing people off of his property. I was just reading catnip for cats, their bucket list. I love it. Clean litter box, warmth and love. It's very true. Cats sometimes are a little bit easier. Uh, for Duncan, I also put on his bucket list barking at nothing important. So even though to me, I didn't think it was important, if he was barking at something in the distance, go at it, boy. You know, you do you. Peeing on the neighbor's plants. Next was having In-N-Out parties. So this is when we lived in California, and In-N-Out is kind of like a Wendy's, way better than Wendy's. I hope I don't insult the Wendy's lovers out there, but they have hamburgers and French fries. And so we had a big In-N-Out party. I even have pictures from his In-N-Out party that I'll post later. Snuggle with mom and dad, which that was like all the time, but lots of kisses, made a new friend, and also chased the mail truck. And so as you can see, these may not be the most crazy outlandish things that we did, but I did this actually just about 5 days before he passed, so he was not in the best of spirits to be able to do a lot of energy stuff, so we couldn't take him to the beach or things like that. So I wish I actually did it a little bit earlier, so that way I could have added some of the things that we love to do. Like him and I used to love to go for walks and watch the sunset. Well, I like the sunset, he just liked to go for the walks. But it was a special spot that we went to. So if I did this a little bit earlier, I would have been able to check those things off. But I know they're a little bit for me. So I want to go over 2 other bucket lists, again, really to help just give you some inspiration for your own. And I want you all to share some of your items on your list, because we could all get help from each other, right? So this is Eddie's bucket list. Eddie has been an angel for about 2 years now, and his family made his bucket list. I'm just looking over here. So first is have pizza and ice cream, snuggle with mom and dad weekend mornings, find a new park and take a walk. So I love this one, find a new park. You know how many parks are in probably your neighborhood or your town, and you just didn't even know about it, and all the new smells that your dog could enjoy. Cast a paw print. That's really important. We at Lap of Love, we always give a paw impression after a euthanasia. And so sometimes families like to do that beforehand. And then you can make so many great things out of the paw print besides just having the paw print. But here's actually a necklace that I had made. You're not going to see it too good, sorry. But there's my cat's paw print is on that. A doggy photo shoot. So I did this with my Samoyed, and it was awesome. So I had a professional photographer come and do a doggy photo shoot. And there's a picture that I got of her that was just so symbolic of who she was, that I'm so glad I got that. And so if you've done a doggy photo shoot, please submit the pictures. We'd love to see them. Go on a hike with grandma and grandpa, breakfast in bed with dad, another steak dinner. Steak dinners are a good one. Then it's on Eddie's bucket list, throw a birthday party. And then the word Emily is written there with X out. So I don't know if he didn't like Emily or not. Sunbathing and a picnic in the park. And then for a bonus, Eddie got to ride in a fire truck. So he had a really great bucket list. And then the other list I want to talk about is one for Buddy. So Buddy was a little dog. And instead of a bucket list, it was his joy of living list, which I also really enjoyed. And I love this list because his mom and dad drew little pictures of him, sketched little pictures, so it's amazing, and we'll share it. So for Buddy's list, he had Sunday afternoon at a local park, stroll up a hill at Arnold Arboretum with Uncle Brian as a bonus, paw time with my favorite friends at 90W, don't know what that is, my favorite meal, chicken, a family photo, cuddles with mom, cuddles with dad, never enough, walk to Blackstone Park and lay in the sun, my favorite fruit snacks, strawberries, and FaceTime with Uncle Adrian. And I think a FaceTime is so important, especially during the holidays when maybe people don't live nearby and they can't make it in time to say goodbye. So doing a FaceTime with those that love your pet is really nice. And I know sometimes the pets may not appreciate as much as we do, but sometimes they do. If they hear one of their favorite family member's voice or friend's voice, it actually makes them feel good. So all these things are to release endorphins, which make us feel good. Now, like I mentioned, some of these are really for us, and that's okay, because as a caregiver, it's very stressful. And so sometimes actually doing these things are benefit to both parties, the dog, cat, or ourselves. Now I'm really trying to think what I'm going to do for my kitty cats. So that was a very good suggestion about the cats. What could we do? So maybe as a team we could make some suggestions. But I think the most important thing of all this is it really can help us with our grieving process. So there's something called anticipatory grief, which basically means that we start grieving before the death happens. And if you're able to do some of these things like a bucket list or enjoy these favorite things that your pet may do, it actually will help us redirect our focus on the death, but actually on the living and the precious time that we have left. And so for me, now that I did my bucket list for Duncan, I can look back and I still have grief, but I don't have regret. And I think that's the most important thing, is that bucket list can help you have no regret. And I have so many regrets for my Neo, is that I did not get to do all the things that I wish I had done. And so just writing these down and maybe doing that now before dare I say it's too late, and do some things that they could do and enjoy now. And then maybe as we get closer, it is just simply snuggling with mom and dad, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. So I hope this live was a little bit helpful, but please, I beg of you to submit some of your bucket list, just post it onto this, or pictures if you've done a doggy photo shoot, or maybe pictures of your loved one enjoying some of their joys of life. So until next time, take care.